going extreme trends here. Breaking a world record has become something for the overachievers in life to aim for. If you've got a talent for something obscure, then there's no better way to show it off than to try and break a world record. Since the launch of the Guinness World Records back in 1955, people have gone above and beyond to prove that they are the best in their field. However, it doesn't always go quite to plan. So let's take a look at 10 world records that went horribly wrong. Number 10, 1986 Bloomfest. If you haven't guessed already, this has got to do with a lot of balloons, specifically 1.5 million of them. Volunteers in Cleveland, Ohio were attempting to raise money for charity by inflating helium balloons in the town square ready to be released. A host of people sat at the tables underneath a giant net dome, inflating hot air balloons and releasing them into the air. The net was designed to hold them in place until the big release to set them all into the air. But sadly, no one decided to check the weather forecast that day. When the weather turned nasty, the net started to move the giant mass of inflatables, so the decision was made for the balloons to be released early. However, unfortunately, it didn't go as they planned. Rather than flying off and spreading far and wide all over the state and beyond as a big accomplishment, the balloons wreaked absolute havoc, descending back into the city, all over the harbour and even the airport, causing absolute chaos with transport systems and basically making a giant mess that took a lot of time and effort and money to clean up. Not only that, but because the weather blew so many balloons into the sea, unfortunately lifeguards couldn't save 2 drowning citizens, so they ended up drowning. Such an unfortunate ending. Number 9, world record car jump attempt. Back in 2014, a skier and rally car driver Julian Cicerit attempted to beat the world record for the biggest car jump. Jumping a car from any distance is absolutely terrifying. We all know that cars crashing at high speeds is dangerous enough, but if you factor in a giant leap, then the force of impact is significantly heightened. Months of planning and years of experience doesn't guarantee a smooth run, no matter how many times you practice. On the day, Cicerit reached speeds of 130 miles per hour down a snow-covered hill, up a ramp and planned to reach the other side some distance away. Unfortunately, he fell just short of it and the nose of the car crashed straight down in a horrific crash after just reaching the other side. The car rolled several times and was completely destroyed. You can hear Cicerit's wife crying in the background, but amazingly he escaped with only minor cuts and bruises thanks to the support bar and rigorous safety training. The huge crash didn't deter the sportsman though, because he vowed to try it again. Number 8, death-defying downhill cycle. Cycling downhill can be pretty scary at the best of times, but factor in trying to break a world record and you've got something most of us would run away from. French sportsman Eric Barraud currently holds the world speed title for the bicycle, but it wasn't quite the clean victory he had hoped for. This was an event that the cyclist had planned for miraculously over the course of months, even designing a bike pilot Lowell Bells as he prepares and tries to break the land plane speed record in the GB Model Z in 1931. Bales was an avid flying enthusiast and had tried to break the official 3-kilometer lane plan speed record at the 1931 National Air Races. Although he failed, he was desperate to try again. In December of last year, he attempted again, and technically, he succeeded. But because he wasn't more than 4.97 over the current record, he failed to clinch the title. While third time is lucky for some, it wasn't for Bales, and 4 days later, he unfortunately passed away trying. Despite reaching speeds of 300 miles per hour, the fuel cap came loose, shooting through the windshield and incapacitating Bales, resulting in a crash landing. The plane exploded in a ball of fire as it hit the ground, and the pilot's body was thrown more than 300 feet from the wreckage. Number 5, space freefall. Let's face it, you have to be pretty nuts to put your life on the line just to break a world record. You don't have to be a professional either, just like truck driver Nick from New Jersey in 1966. In a bizarre series of events, the Union City native managed to get together some equipment and enough sponsorship money to try and break the world freefall record with a jump of 123,800 feet. Nick managed to get up to 56,000 feet before something went wrong, and ground control were forced to open his parachute early, sending him back down to earth. He survived, but then passed away from his injuries 4 months later, leaving behind a young family. It's good to dream big, but if you're wanting to be an astronaut, it's probably best to get the proper training. Number 4, group skydiving tragedy. Skydiving is a risky business. You rely totally on equipment to keep you from plummeting to the ground, and when it lets you down, well, it really lets you down. During an attempt to break the world record for the biggest jump formations in Arizona back in 2014, one experienced skydiver unfortunately plummeted to the ground after their main parachute failed to open. The footage from the event is pretty spectacular. For starters, you wonder how there weren't more accidents. Surely all of those planes and all of those parachutes are just an accident waiting to happen. Despite there being over 222 veteran skydivers all over the world attending the event, this was the 3rd death in 4 months stemming from an attempt to break the world record. Let's hope they don't try this again. Number 3, around the world in 30 days. It sounds like an inviting prospect, doesn't it? Traveling all around the world in your own private jet. But it's not quite as glamorous when it's just you and your dad in a single-engine plane. For a start, there's no first class and there is very little room for error. Father Sulman and his 17-year-old son Harris knew that what they were attempting wasn't easy, with Barbara writing in his log that he had made sure that he had enough provisions if they needed to ditch. He openly admitted in his entries that it was a strong possibility it might not happen, but his desire to beat the world record overcame him. Sadly, their provisions weren't enough to save them. While the first leg of the trip seemed to go to plan, shortly after their takeoff from America Samoa on July the 30th, 2014, the small plane went down. Harris was found still in his seat near the wreckage. He didn't make it. Despite efforts, his father's body was never recovered. A sad end to a father and son trip, which no one really knows what happened to cause the tragedy. Number 2, 17-story parkour. The craze of jumping from building to building with no safety equipment is steadily growing in popularity in urban areas. Although it's best reserved for training professionals in Bond films, this doesn't stop amateurs thinking they can give it a go. In 2012, one 24-year-old girl climbed to the rooftops of St. Petersburg in Russia with her sister and 2 experienced parkours. When the professionals did a jump, the girls were asked to do it too. While her sister refused, the younger woman ran, jumped, and unfortunately missed the ledge and fell 17 stories to the ground. The men quickly fled the scene and no one broke any records here, but they broke everything else. Number 1, scuba dive fail. They say that we have only discovered 5% of the ocean to date, so it's no wonder that deep sea explorers want to push the envelope and go where no one else have gone before. The issue is they don't always come back. Dr. Guy Garman attempted to break the deep sea diving record, wanting to reach a depth of 1,200 feet. While everything went to plan initially, Garman didn't re-emerge from his depth. He vanished in the murky waters of the US Virgin Islands and was never seen again. Who knows what kind of creatures he encountered down there, or if it was an unavoidable technical glitch. We'll never know. So that has been the top 10 world records gone horribly wrong. If you did enjoy the video or found it interesting, then why not go check out one of our other videos by clicking the video on screen now. Before you do that though, as always, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you do not miss a single upload. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you in the next video. Hey everybody, how's it going? Extreme Trends here, and welcome to the top 10 products you will never buy again, knowing how they are made. Number 10, vanilla and raspberry flavoring. Now, there's no denying that many of us love ice cream, especially the many different flavors, but there's a pretty good chance you will never have ice cream again, specifically vanilla, strawberry, and raspberry flavors, once you know how they are made. And it's not just limited to ice cream, any food with those flavors, because these flavoring contains something called castoreum. Before going on, you should know what exactly castoreum is and why it is a problem. To put it bluntly, castoreum is the secretion of brown slime that comes from the castor glands of a beaver's anus. When mixed in with a little bit of beaver urine, it becomes one of the core ingredients in achieving the flavor that tastes of vanilla, raspberry, and strawberry. The funny part is the use of castoreum has actually been deemed the same by the Food and Drug Administration, calling this substance non-toxic to taste and non-toxic to skin. The icing on top of the cake though is that castoreum has been used for the last 80 years and has been listed under quote-unquote natural ingredients in the list of ingredients for flavorings. Number 9, McDonald's apple pie. McDonald's is usually delicious. Who can forget the great tasting Big Macs and McFlurries at McDonald's? Also, let's not forget their apple pies, which is the food of American pastimes. Sweet and tasty, especially when it's hot. But we have never stopped to wonder exactly how these apple pies are made and what exactly goes into them apart from apples and sweet sauce. Well, the answer is L-cysteine. L-cysteine is basically an amino acid that, although not necessary for adults, it is very important for the consumption by infants. It is also a key ingredient used in making apple pies. What's wrong with it, you may ask? Well, it is the way that it's made. L-cysteine is made through the process of hydrolysis, which core ingredients include feathers of ducks and hog hair, and in some cases it is also rumored that it consists of human hair. The ingredients are bonded together with water to achieve a liquid that is used in the apple pie to give it a great taste. What makes it worse is that the use of L-cysteine has been banned in the European Union but not the United States, where it is still used in large quantities. Number 8, beer. It's time to crack open a cold one with the boys on this spot. Beer is the third most consumed beverage in the world after tea and water, and none of us have even won.
Invisalign aligners can treat teen cases, simple to complex. Plus, no injuries from
Wondered what beer contains. Apart from alcohol, there is another secret ingredient that is used to make the beer finer. That ingredient is called isinglass. What's isinglass, you may ask? Well, in short, isinglass is essentially the extracts of dried fish bladders. It may seem weird, but it's common practice to use this ingredient for beers, especially to make beer and even some wines more clear to look at. Guinness has gone on to state that they have been using the ingredient in their beers for over 250 years and have just now begun to reduce their use of isinglass in their beers. Still might make some people think twice about picking up a beer next time round. Number 7, red food dye. Red velvet cupcake, Starbucks strawberry frappuccino, and red strawberry candies. What do all of these have in common? Well, not only are they delicious, but they use red food dye, which is made out of bugs. Specifically, the cochineal scale, which contains an acid histamine that is used to get the bright color of red food dye. These bugs are crushed, and when the crushed powder is mixed with water, it creates a strong red dye that we consume on a regular basis. You'll be surprised by the number of things that include cochineal scale in its ingredients. Things like yogurt, juices, and even pink pastries all include these crushed bugs. It's the main ingredient that provides the color and taste to these items. In 2012, it was revealed that Starbucks was using the crushed cochineal bugs in its strawberry frappuccino, which caused an absolute outrage. It is still used today and is being deemed safe by the Food and Drug Administration. You can find it in the ingredients section under these names: carmine, cochineal extract, and natural red 4. Number 6, chewing gum. Throughout history, mankind has been chewing on all manners of different plants and fruits like we do nowadays with gum. The ancient Greeks used to chew gum made from the bark of the mastic tree. South Americans used to chew on the leaves of the coca plant, which is used to make cocaine. It was in the 1880s that a pharmacist called John Colgan created the first flavored chewing gum called Taffy Tulu. Today, there are several popular brands of chewing gum such as Trident, Eclipse, and Orbit, all competing with one another for the privilege of finding their way into our mouths. The base of the gum used to be made of a natural substance called chicle, which is a sap-like substance produced in the bark of a sabadilla tree. Chicle was prominent for its use in the production of chewing gum in the past. However, these days only a few small brands still use it in their gum base. But still, the majority of brands have switched to adding synthetic rubber in the base of chewing gum instead. Apparently, the synthetic rubber is much easier and cheaper to manufacture, although that doesn't discard the fact that you're literally eating rubber. When it comes to energy drinks, there is no drink as well known or consumed as Red Bull. The drink has sold over 5 billion cans since 2012 and is widely available in 171 countries around the world. With the name Red Bull, a lot of people actually thought that this energy drink included bull semen and bull urine as a core ingredient. Well, that has proved to be a hoax. However, those ingredients are probably even more healthier than what is actually in Red Bull. While Red Bull has a sugar intake that is less than most soda drinks, it contains up to 80 milligrams of caffeine, which is like drinking 2 cups of coffee. While that makes it why the drink gives us such a tremendous boost of energy, it also makes the drink incredibly addictive. Another harmful element present in the drink is its main sweetener, aspartame, which can produce cancer such as leukemia, which is blood cancer, and lymphoma. The drink also contains synthetic taurine, an ingredient that is reported to include high blood pressure, strokes, and seizures. In conclusion, while it is safe to guzzle down a Red Bull every once in a while, try not to become too independent on it for your energy boost. Or alternatively, try some organic coffee or green tea instead. Number 4, Improver shampoo. Your hair serves very important roles in your daily life. Not only does your hairstyle allow you to express your identity as an individual, but it also protects your scalp from the ultraviolet rays of the sun. That is why it is so important to take good care of your hair, such as by washing and shampooing it regularly. The protein content of a shampoo is its most important part, since it provides hair with nutrients to stay healthy, strong, and breakage-free. Unlike most other shampoos which derive protein from eggs or plants, Improv shampoo takes it to a whole new level and uses bovine seminal plasma instead, also known as bull semen. Improver claims that using BSP is not only a far more natural option, but it is also much better than any other protein derivative at nourishing your hair and promoting their growth. While that may be true, it still doesn't disregard the fact that you're literally using bull semen to wash your hair. At number 3, we have McDonald's chicken nuggets. What do you do when you come home hungry but don't feel like rummaging around in the kitchen to cook something up? For most people, calling your favorite fast food chain and ordering in is one of the best ideas. Whether it may be Wendy's, KFC, Domino's, or any other of the multiple brands available, you can certainly look forward to a hot and delicious meal made from only the freshest of ingredients under the highest standards of safety and cleanliness. Well, say hello to mechanically separated chicken. The process of creating this chicken paste is by forcing the meat through a sieve under high pressures, which turns it into this puree. This includes all parts of the chicken, such as bones, eyes, beaks, namely things you don't want in your chicken nuggets. And to make it worse, this paste is soaked with ammonia to kill any bacteria present in the paste before being artificially colored to get rid of the weird pink color. Most fast food outlets have been rumored to use this process of producing their chicken patties and nuggets, however, none more than McDonald's and their chicken nuggets. Number 2, cigarettes. I'm sure most of you saw this entry coming. It's no secret that cigarettes are very bad for you. It's common knowledge by now that smoking increases the risk of lung cancer, can cause heart diseases like stroke, and even causes impotency. However, such obvious side effects, there are now over 1 billion estimated smokers in the world, out of which more than 6 million die annually. So what exactly is in these cigarettes that make them so deadly? Well, apart from nicotine, which we're all familiar with, there are several other substances such as acetone, a chemical used in nail polish removers, as well as arsenic, which is used in rat poison. Also worthy note to mention is the use of metals such as nickels and cadmium, which has been known to cause cancer in humans. And it only gets worse when you look at the complete list of chemicals and see that there are over 400 chemicals chemicals that are toxic to the human body. It really makes you wonder if that quick puff of the cigarette is really worth it in the long run. At number 1, we have perfume. Yes, perfume, the exact same thing you spray on to make yourself smell appealing to others. If you're wondering what exactly is in those little colour vials that you should know about, then don't worry anymore. In perfume is a little thing called ambergris, a waxy substance that is produced in the digestive system of sperm whales and is primarily collected from their vomit. This substance is used as a fixative in perfumes, meaning it helps the scents last much longer and also has a unique scent that can be described as sweet and earthy. This substance is quite rare, usually found in the abdomens of dead sperm whales, and a large chunk of it can fetch quite a pretty penny. In 2006, a couple in Australia found a 14-kilogram chunk of ambergris while walking on the beach, which they managed to sell for over $250,000. Nowadays, ambergris has been mostly replaced by synthetic ambroxan. However, there are still many perfumes that use this natural ambergris, although they'll cost you a good deal more than their synthetic counterparts. So that has been the top 10 products you will not buy after knowing how they are made. If you did enjoy the video or found it interesting, then why not go check out one of my other videos by clicking the video on screen now. Before you do that though, as always, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you do not miss a single upload. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you in the next video.